Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition for the love of music right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sara Troy, and my guest is Sharon Carne. The sound of sounds, the sound of music, the sounds that we hear that calm us, the sounds that guide us. You know, it's, as she says, human beings' first language were sounds before they articulated it into words. It is an energy that supports you and reduces stress and aligns you and stabilizes you and lines up your chakras and everything else. It's a catalyst to the expansion of your consciousness. It is so much more. And Sharon is an international speaker, trainer, publisher, musician, recording artist, and the founder of Sound Wellness. I really like that, sound wellness. And having been a person where sound is most certainly for me a state of wellness, it is, I fully understand this. It's just beautiful. So let's share this out with everyone. Sharon, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sara.
Sound wellness. People actually don't realize how much noise or sound has a ricocheting effect on the body. And as a human nation, we're not inclined to give ourselves silence, right? To just let ourselves be. We constantly seem to be in some state of something, and which definitely has an effect on the psyche and the imbalancing of ourselves, doesn't it?
Yes, I so agree. And it's fascinating. A lot of the activity that our human family finds themselves getting into, Sara, I believe is a distraction because sometimes we're a little bit afraid of that quiet, intuitive voice that can be so, so powerful. Yet it is the most important voice we can listen to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's where all the answers lie. You know, the soul, heart, spirit. It then speaks to the head, and the head will know what it needs to know when it needs to know it. But we have so much chatter going on in our head, we don't know how to be still, to be quiet, to hear ourselves from the inside out. We're perpetually looking for outside sources. But this is where sound, used right, can be very good for us because it can ignite the calmness within us, the equilibrium, and allow us to hear what it is we're meant to be hearing.
Yeah, totally. And there are so many ways that sound and music can be used to quiet the chatter. You
Mm.
know, I found that, oh, it's so interesting, Sarah. I found a study when I was researching theories of learning. And this study was done by neuroscientists who specialize in learning. What they were looking for was what scientists call the oops response.
Mm.
And this is fascinating because what the study did is it put two electrical signals through the brain, or electrical charges. And one of them, with one group of people, was to amplify the, I guess, amplify whenever a person made a mistake.
Mm.
And the other one was to amplify when things are going well, and something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And what they found was the oops response, or what helps you learn, or when you've made a mistake, when you're about to make a mistake, there is an electrical charge that goes off in the prefrontal cortex that says, oops, or just about, oops. But and this is where we get into so much trouble
Mm.
with the mind, the chattering mind, is because that oops is it's a learning mechanism.
Yes.
Now, that learning mechanism has negative language with it because it has to get our attention.
Mm-hmm.
Its job is to keep us safe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really important job that the chattering mind takes very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And so, where we get stuck is we forget that it's there to catch our attention to learn something. So, we learn something and we let it go, you know? And
Yes.
then we get stuck in that emotional charge.
Mm-hmm.
If the brain is saying, look, you idiot, you just messed up.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There's something I need to learn here.
Right.
And instead of learning the lesson, we get stuck in the emotional response to that. And
Beating
then
ourselves up,
on.
right? Oh, you stupid idiot, you shouldn't have done that, or it's somebody else's fault. Instead of like, you simply took a misstep, in the dance of life. All it is practice makes perfect. Pay attention and don't repeat.
Yeah, and it helped me put into perspective that voice, and it
Mm-hmm.
helped me to understand that voice. And you already mentioned this in that right relationship
Mm.
between the quiet voice and the mind's work, and that inspiration and guidance from that quiet voice gives the mind its job. The
Mm-hmm.
mind can say, oops, every once in a while, and you go, oh, okay, course correction.
Yes.
Let's get back on track.
Yes.
Yet it's, yeah, we just take it so out of
I
perspective.
know. Well,
And
we soap opera it, melodrama. It's my favorite saying is, we see an in it, take a pimple, make a volcanic eruption, and we seem to, as human beings, love drama, and we love creating it, and we love being a part of it, and then when we're a part of it, we don't want to be a part of it, But we constantly seem to be in this drama mode instead of just taking a breath. Whoops, okay, I'm not meant to do that. Take a deep breath. Which direction should I go in? Here in, and step forward accordingly instead of like, oh my God, melodrama. So, calm down, folks, right? Calm down.
sometimes easier said than done.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
It depends what
yeah.
we're facing at the time. Yeah. But I think it's something that we need to have in our gearbox to register what we're reacting to. Is this really something I should be reacting to? Or is it something I can just take a deep breath and realign?
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. And here too, one of the things we teach in our programs is that balance and the
Yes.
dance between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous systems
Mm-hmm.
and the physical activity that goes on when we get the drama queen going on.
Yes.
So the drama queen releases neurochemicals into the bloodstream that floods the cells. And the receptors that allows that information, those neurochemicals, to get into the cell, this is hormones that represent fear. This is how
Mm-hmm.
fear actually gets into your cells.
Mm-hmm.
The receptors can change their shape to accept more fear into the cells through these hormones. And so we end up being more in a permanent drama queen
Right.
stage. And stress, it's important for us to realize, and I catch myself in those drama queen moments that a prolonged stress and mind chatter and all of this activity can become addictive.
Yeah.
So that's where it becomes more of a challenge to create that harmony between the sympathetic, which is the drama queen, but its job is to keep us safe, and the parasympathetic is where we breathe and rest.
Right.
So they're always doing this.
Mm-hmm.
They're always doing this, but sympathetic is up here like this, and parasympathetic is going, what about me?
Yeah.
You know, it's not getting a chance. So
Right.
it's taking an extra boost, an extra effort to quiet this so that the sympathetic can catch a breath and go, okay, we have a
Mm.
partnership here.
Yes.
And it's become one sided in our human family, so much so. And when you recognize that we have a partnership
Mm-hmm.
in our nervous system, then it allows you to go to recognize when these symptoms in drama queen come up, to have a trigger here somewhere that says, look at me. I wonder if that was that little electrical signal that we just got a little overboard, or my reaction to that little electrical jolt, my oops, went overboard into the drama queen, and it wasn't necessary.
Right. Do you find that a lot of people stay in that state of drama or trauma or victimization because they become addicted to the attention?
My sense has always been they're addicted to the energy because it creates a lot of energy. You know, to be honest, Sarah, I hadn't thought of that, because if it's an addiction to the attention, then that also is a motive to perpetuate
Yes.
the chemistry in the body.
Right. Right. Do you find that sometimes, you know, I know I've felt it myself, where everything about you is screaming and you can't hear anything but the screams, the body, the mind, the everything, it's screaming. And you don't need another particular sound in there because it just will get mushed up in there. And it's almost, you need the silent sound, a soft sound to kind of weave its way in amongst the screams to calm ourselves down. Because when people get up to that pitch, they're so wound up, what can bring them back down again? And it's not putting on heavy metal or rock and roll, you know, it's something that's coming.
Actually,
Yeah, exactly. The balls, yes.
there are sounds that will in a way, especially a fairly strong sound from something like a Tibetan bowl, distracts this. So it's like it creates, or a strong sound with the voice creates a blast wave that clears everything out of the way, including all of this screaming. It's like, what just happened?
Yes. Something got switched off.
It's quite,
Yes.
what just happened? And certain kinds of sounds, if they're the right sounds that work for you, will do that for you. So as you mentioned, in that basket of tools, you need lots of these shockwave tools that you know work for you, that can create that, whoa, I'm back.
Right. Do you
Now where
have a
do I
sound you
go?
can do for us right now to kind of give us an example?
I'll bring Incredible over here.
For those who are just listening or not watching, it looks like an enormous salad bowl that would feed an army, but it's actually made out of,
It's made out of 7 different metals.
wow.
And the metals are, oh gosh, there's tin, and copper, there's gold and silver, mercury, lead, which means it's not good for a salad bowl.
Right.
And there's tin is a large ingredient in here, and each bowl has a different blending of those different elements to it. When this bowl could be generations old, we don't know. It has an energy that whenever people hear it, usually right immediately after that, I hear, it's one of those shock waves that can help push everything out of the way. We're all unique people,
Right.
individuals, and so there's not the perfect sound. There's not one thing
Right.
that works for everybody. It's impossible because we're all unique.
Yes.
So, okay, now here with Zoom, I'll play it, and I'll need your feedback on the volume of the sound, because it's a little different coming through the technology.
Right.
Okay. Tap it again.
You can do, but it's wonderful. I love the sound.
Do you hear the wavering sounds
Yes,
in there?
yes. It's like a ripple effect, isn't it? Ripple, 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 ripple,
Yes.
ripple, ripple as it goes out. And you know how sometimes you watch cartoons and it's boing, and the head goes into things. So it's a little bit like that, just that, as you said, you can't help but being shocked into that. But it's not necessarily what you're hearing so much as what you're feeling from it. Like that
Very
wonderful
much so.
ripple effect. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the ripple effect is actually brainwave entrainment frequencies that the
Mm,
brain responds to and tunes itself to. And there's a specific science about frequencies and what creates entrainment in the brain. Part of the way sound works is that we are entrainment beings. So entrainment is a way of following
mm,
another rhythm, or we're amazing followers. The heart does this with
yes.
music. The heart tries to match the beat of any music. Well,
Hmm.
the brain will respond to two frequencies that are close together. When two frequencies are close together, it creates that wobbling or wavering.
Right.
And so when those frequencies are close together, then the brain is so interesting. What the brain does is it and trains itself to the difference between those two frequencies. So, for example, if one of those frequencies is 440 hertz
Hmm.
and the other one is 435 hertz, let's say, there's 5 hertz difference in between those. Well, in a matter of minutes, and I'm not sure how short minutes in the research it takes, the brain will shift into 5 hertz. Now,
Mm,
in order for it to do that, it has to connect the hemispheres. So you're getting more of your brain back
yes.
when you're experiencing these sounds. So the wavering helps to calm the mind, connect the hemispheres. The sound itself, when these old bowls were made, the part of the intention and the energetic part
Hmm.
of these bowls and the sound they create was every single hammer stroke that went into creating this bowl. It started as a flat piece of metal and then it was hammered. So you can see some of the
Yes.
hammer strokes. And so every hammer stroke was said to be accompanied by a prayer or an
Mm,
om or a
mm,
mantra, which are all the same thing.
right.
And so it's said that when you tap an old bowl like this, it's like releasing a million prayers,
Yes.
not only into the space, but into you physically, because sound goes through you.
Right. Yes. Yes. And that was lovely. I mean, we've certainly got to have some more of this all the way through here to demonstrate it. And, you know, you've got everything going on, chatter, 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 and then that comes along and it's literally boing, yoing, 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 getting yourself back into alignment. And it's almost like your psyche is going, oh, thank God. You know, you're shutting up and you're realigning, which is what the world needs right now. And it's so easy with everything that is going on, Me Too, COVID, Black Lives Matter, financial stress, and every politics and everything else. It's so easy to kind of get into that hysteric mode without even realizing it. And so having something that kind of forcibly just has you step out of that, snapping, re-breaking and realigning, I think it's pretty essential in our lives right now.
To have something that will do that, absolutely,
Mm,
because it's like I said, it's like that shockwave.
yeah.
This one is a fairly gentle one, unless I really bang it. I know years ago, my husband and I had 8 years of end of life family care for 3 family members, one right after the other.
Mm,
And the third, was my sister.
mm,
And so there are times I was one of her primary care support. So there are times when I would come home and I would sit with this bowl weighs a ton, so it's
mm.
hard to hold it, but I would put this in my lap and I would bang the daylights out of it. So it would create wave after wave after wave after wave after wave after wave of vibration.
Mm,
Now, because sound goes through you, and especially this sound, it's a wobbly sound. So
yes.
it's doing this
Yeah.
to all of your atoms and molecules. Well, one of the cool things that I realized is emotional energy, which is why I was banging on the bowl.
Right.
It's in that I see emotional energy as being in that space, that 99% empty space within an atom, because it said atoms are supposed to be 99% empty space. That's where the emotional energy sits. That's also where your soul energy,
Mm,
soul essence sits. They're kind of all intertwined. And when you have emotional energy stuck, you need something to shake it out of there.
yes.
And so the sound of an old Tibetan bowl is absolutely brilliant at
And
that
beautiful. Yeah.
because it is so wobbly.
Right.
And I could bang away at this for about 5 minutes, and then I would be back to, okay, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I needed to release that.
Yes. We don't know how to release things. You know, we take on, we take on, we take on. We don't know how to release things. And people say, well, just go and meditate. Well, how can you meditate if you're so wound up? Right? Nothing you do is going to unwind you. You have to find what it is. And that reset of that sound, you know, just you want to go and meditate, you want to go for a walk, you want to go and do something, having that kind of sound just kind of realigning you. Now, whatever you're going to go and do is going to be something that will truly benefit you. But until you kind of release that tension, which very often we don't realize how clenched we are.
Mhm,
Right?
mhm.
And then you just hear that, and as it's ricocheting, you're going, "Brrr," everything is loosening up, and we so need that right now because there's just everything is so high in tension. Now, I've done other shows on energy, and one person was saying that the love vibration is at 580 hertz. What do you say to that?
Or 528 hertz, I think is one at least. Actually, I have, let me see if this is the one. I have the set of tuning forks that has that frequency within it. I just want to check to see if this is the one.
People
Yes,
don't
this,
realize that actually love is a frequency. When you're in that particular frequency, you're raised up, so to speak, and you really can't knowingly do harm to anyone in that state of beingness. But how do I get to love? Well, you need to do everything necessary: kindness, caring, nurturing of yourself, so you can step into self-love. But we also do need those things that reset us and that calm us and give us that equilibrium, so that we actually have a chance to actually understand what kindness, caring, nurturing, and love really feels like. Because so many people don't know, do they?
exactly, Sarah, exactly. And now, one thing about frequency I've discovered too is that there are several people who have measured the liver as this frequency, and it's 3 or 4 different frequencies. So I'm not sure the science have found exactly
Hmm.
yet, or if exactly they're all within a range.
Right.
So this is a frequency. It's from the solfeggio tunings or the solfeggio set of frequencies. And there's a whole story to how this particular series of frequencies was found or rediscovered. And Dr. Len Horowitz is by, I guess, a scientific researcher who wrote a book about what he called the love frequency.
Mm.
And I think he was one of the first to explore the feeling and the sense of this frequency, at least in the 20th, 21st century.
Hmm.
So here is the tuning fork I have,
Okay.
and it says this one, according to Dr. Horowitz's theories, is 528 hertz, which he calls the love frequency. So I'll tap it on my knee and bring it over to the microphone just to get a sense.
Right.
Now, we're all individual beings, so
Right.
some people might just go, ew.
Yes.
And some people might say, this is it for me.
Right, exactly. That's the thing, which is your attunement, right?
Yeah, and I love, love, love your word alignment. It's such a precious word and a word we all need desperately right now.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Okay, so I'll
Mhm.
tap it. Now, Zoom is a little strange. Did it last a little long or did it cut off right away?
Not right away. It kind of did a curve. And it's a
Good.
very different feeling to the bowl. With the bowl, you can really feel the ripple. This almost felt like it was washing over you, like this, like a blanket washing over you, which was a lovely feeling. And I think it's neither one of them. It should be chosen over the other. It's just a question of how does it make you feel at the time. But
Exactly.
yeah, it was more of a, as I said, an over you, where the other one was more of a separating you with the ripple.
You want to hear it again?
Yes, please.
Okay,
What you
here
can all
comes.
do is some love, darling.
I know. Yep.
Now that was interesting this time because instead of washing over me, I felt it go into my core.
Yes, so maybe the sound needed to just create the
Right.
attunement or alignment with the frequency. We're introducing a different sound to your nervous system. And
Mm.
so sometimes the nervous system has to go clink, 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 clink. I'll handle that frequency. That one's okay for me.
Yes.
And then the next time, then the nervous system has a better idea of what to do with it.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, no, that was a lovely feeling because, it really kind of, I could feel, as I said, the first time it was washed over me, and then the second time I could feel it just coming right into my core, into my heart. And it was, and no ripples, nothing, just a beautiful, like a very warm light going into you, which was really lovely. I don't think people actually really understand sound at all and how impactful sound is. Yet we talk a great deal about a person's tone of voice. Don't take that tone with me, right? And how we actually articulate ourselves isn't always the words, it's very much the body action, but it's also in which tone we speak. And there are certain tones that are more welcoming, where people are going to hear you rather than, the criticism tone or the demand tone or the dictator tone. We don't realize actually how much tone is in our everyday lives.
Beautiful topic, Sarah. Beautiful topic. And as far as my perspective, to add to what you said, absolutely, we don't realize the
Mm-hmm.
impact this has. It has an impact on our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
However, it also has an impact on us physically.
Yes.
And we forget that because sound is an energy that is very physical. In order for sound to move, it has to push against atoms and molecules. And as it pushes against atoms and molecules, it creates what we know as the sound wave. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually that energy. Sound is defined as a vibrational energy. So it's the source, like the tap of the tuning fork or the tap of the bowl. It's the source that then pushes and waves through the air, and then it waves through the wires,
Mm-hmm.
then it waves through us as we're here sitting here listening. So it is an energy that's very physical because it's pushing every molecule. Now, when you think of your voice, it's created inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
And before the person you're speaking with even receives the sound of your voice, you have already moved every molecule of your own being with your sound. Now, sound is a carrier wave. It's like 102.3 FM on your radio. You tune your radio to 102.3 FM, and that brings along your favorite music. It brings the news, it brings the commercials. It's a carrier wave that has all of this riding on its back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the sound of your voice does the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The sound of the bowl, the sound of the tuning fork does the same thing. The voice is more powerful because it carries emotional energy
Right.
and or thought and intention energy. That's what makes it so powerful. So this was a big realization for me, Sarah, quite a few years ago when I started researching the nature of a sound wave and how it carried emotional and thought energy. Because as a performing musician,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be responsible for the energy that I was sending out on the sound waves that I was creating. And as a corollary to that, I sat my kids down in the kitchen. We have two boys, they're now grown, but I sat them down at the kitchen table and I said, I will never, I will never yell at you again
Right.
because what you're doing, not only are they receiving the energy of that washing through every cell of your being, but anger, all of this, we need to express it. We also need to let it flow out because it is moving every atom of
Yes.
your being with every sound that you make from the inside out when it's your own voice. So when I realized that, I started taking more responsibility
Hmm.
for tone of voice and particularly being aware because it kind of pops out, doesn't
Hmm.
it?
Oh, yeah. We become reactionary. We're human. Yes, that's what we
It's
do.
human. Yeah,
Yes.
totally. It pops out. And so there the responsibility part is I apologize for that. That was really inappropriate. And I was feeling this and it was coming out in that energy of the voice. That energy of your voice, what I call it a sonic massage.
Mm,
Because you're massaging every molecule before the person you're speaking with receives it.
right. I mean, I was actually interviewed this morning, and she asked me a certain question, and inspiration. What is inspiration? We were talking about power, and I'm saying I don't really like power because I look upon it as people in more of a dictatorship control factor. But I love empowerment because now it is sharing that power amongst everybody and empowering everyone to rise up. And we will listen to people who speak to us in a way that they're speaking for you to hear, not for them to hear themselves back. Right? When we have people that inspire us, because we know it's coming from the heart, it's coming from the real intent, it's coming in that love and warmth of what that is they're sharing, and we really move towards that because it moves us. Now, as opposed to somebody who is the rah, 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 or angry, 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 that ignites something else in us. But what it does, it starts separating us inside, doesn't it? It starts breaking us apart. And now we end up with dis-ease in the body that manifests into certain diseases because that anger is just constantly breaking and tearing us apart, where soothe, soft, empowering sounds are the ones that help put us together.
Very much so. Very much so. We do need to feel the anger, but we have to allow it to flow
Yes.
and to move out, holding on to it.
Yeah.
Now, here too, it can also be part of that addiction that we were talking
Right.
about
Yes.
earlier,
Yes.
because anger has enormous energy.
Yes.
Anger allows us to become aware of something that doesn't feel right. And so it can offer us that awareness if we allow the anger to go and look for, okay, what was it that didn't feel right? And
Hmm.
how can we create something that feels better?
Mm. In my practice, I used to refer things to a ruler. And I know everybody's in centimeters nowadays, but I'm going to do inches and right. And your 6 to 12 were people who had chosen to live on a higher frequency, a higher positivity. And your 4 to 6 were people who were beginners. They were people who were looking for the enlightenment, looking for a more peaceful path, looking to awake. And your 1 to 3 are your piranhas. They live in the fear, in the anger, in the hatred, and they go after the 3 to 6s because they're still vulnerable, and they just suck the life right out of them. So often we hear somebody, I don't know, I thought they were turning their life around, and they went right back. And that's because they were around a piranha who sucked the life out of them. The angry people really can't suck the life out of people that are on that higher frequency because it doesn't reach us up there, right? So we can still get angry and mad about a situation, but we don't turn to hate. We don't turn to that violence, and we don't turn to that lower vibration, which really not only harms the people that they speak it out to, but is destroying them from the inside out as well.
Very
So
much.
spend your anger, yes, but don't take it out on other people.
Yes, yes, you have to find creative ways, like me banging on the bowl
Yes,
to
yes.
release the pent up emotional energy I was feeling with my sister about her situation. And yeah, and it's fascinating because what I found in my own journey, Sarah, is that higher vibration is a journey.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it's not always like this is, I'm in a higher vibration. It's like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ah, I'm feeling this right now. Isn't that interesting? But
Yes.
it doesn't feel really good. And then, is there anything I can do about changing that situation to come back? It's a daily practice.
And participation. We don't get to a certain stage and say, okay, now I'm this, and I'm going to put me on the back burner while I continue my life. You don't. Okay, she's showing us a book, and the book says, I'm sorry, I can't see it.
Well, this was a gift several years ago. This is my gratitude journal. At the moment,
Aha.
I filled up about 5 of these in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever my life gets harder, then I make sure I am very, very consistent with my gratitude
Right.
practice. It only takes a few minutes to write down
Mm-hmm.
3 things that I'm grateful for that
Right.
day. And when you look into the science behind the vibration of gratitude and how healthy
Yes.
how the neural
Mm.
hormones that are created from just taking a few minutes to write down what you're grateful for has an impact for the next 6 months, even if
Yes.
you just do it once.
Right.
And if you continue to do it at an ongoing basis, oh my gosh, can you think of what a tool that is for
Mm-hmm.
when you're getting wafted around, especially in these days? I'm an empath and I'm a physical empath. So I feel this
Yeah.
very strongly. There was a morning last week when so much emotional energy was in the air. I woke up with everything hurting.
Yes.
And I thought, whoa, what's going on in the world now?
Yeah. No, I'm one of those as well, and I literally have to kind of shut myself down from certain things because I can feel it in every bone and every presence, and it's not a nice feeling. So then what I do is headphones on, music, and it's not I'm listening to words or anything. It's just sounds that I know that are going to rebalance me, and looking at puppy dogs and kittens, things that are going to make me smile, because I need to get back on track. And sometimes you just don't know what is making you feel like this. It's like someone's hit you in the gut, and it's just that impact of what's going on out there hitting us. So probably for empaths it's even more important to have some form of instrument that can take you and recenter you back, right? Because otherwise we carry it all the time and we need to release it.
Very, very, very much so. Very important for empaths. Well, we're all empathic to a certain degree. Some of us
Mm-hmm.
just have that higher
Yeah.
sensitivity level, and it's so, so important. And many people are probably carrying this and don't even
Right.
know that it's not theirs.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so there too is an adventure. It took me years to figure out, okay, I'm feeling this. Okay, what's mine and what's not mine?
Right. I
And
mean, when did you step into this? When did the bowls and the tuning fork kind of speak to you?
oh gosh, I've been a musician all my life, so the guitar has always spoken to my heart
Mhm.
and that vibration because the instrument is held in front of the
Yeah.
heart. And it's
Yes.
this warm wooden
Mm.
vibration sound that always feeds the heart. I had always had that and did my sharing of the heart through that instrument. As far as the other tools, oh gosh, probably about 25 years ago or so, I started 25, 30 years ago, I started in studying more energy medicine, and some
Hmm.
of the tools kind of came through there. A yoga teacher had a Tibetan bowl, and I thought, gee, that's really interesting.
Hmm. Yeah.
That feels different from the feeling of the guitar. So
Hmm.
how, and then started gathering my own instruments. I use so many of them every day, depending on what's going on, to keep me in that harmony and that alignment. So it's very important. But it was one of those things that usually it was synchronistic, Sarah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've learned that those synchron well those synchronicity runs my life
Oh,
in the
it's when
last
you need
12
it, you'll
years.
be there. Yes, I mean, there's no such thing as coincidence, is there? We're led to where we're meant to be, with whom and with what, when we're led to be. And it's just, don't fight it, just go with it. Use it as an exploration, right? And,
Yeah.
I love the bowls, and the tuning forks, but I also love the, what do they call them? The pan drums.
Oh, they're
Oh,
beautiful.
exquisite.
Yeah.
And there is a young man that he plays often in the subways because it just, the sound ambiance is unbelievable, and videos it. But there's something about bowls and those type of things that you can't get in any other instruments. That they really, as the first one, you could feel the ripple effect. Second one was going over me. The third one went into me. Now you can kind of have all sorts of music, and it's really great. But these particular tones are like a signal, right? They're going straight, like aromatherapy. It doesn't matter where you put it in your body, the bloodstream will take it to where it needs to go. And it feels like these are doing the same thing. They're taking you, the sound is going where it needs to go to balance you out, to calm you down, to fortify you. And other musical instruments are wonderful entertainment, but they don't always do that, do they? These are very poignant in what they're here to do.
Yes, and intentional. I love the
Yes.
word poignant and intentional. And it's so interesting. I've played Incredible many, many times in front of groups of people, and this person here will say, "Oh, I felt that in my stomach. My stomach had been really bothering me. Now
Mm.
it feels better." Really? I felt that in my knee. Oh,
Yes.
I
Yes.
felt it in my hip.
Right. Right.
My headache's gone.
Mm.
It's all kinds of responses. Like you say, it goes where it needs to go. Even though a tuning fork, this was the 528 hertz, can be tuned to a very specific frequency that is intended to affect the heart, it
Mm.
might not go there. It
Right.
might. It might have a larger response from people at the heart, but it might go to somebody's hip.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the fascinating thing about it. This is where I think, a lot of ways we've got so kind of want to be in control of everything, and everything has a manual, and we don't step into wonderment or allowing or adventurism. And the thing is be prepared, in your backpack, the tools, the knowledge that you need along the way. But life is unseen, untold, and you don't know where you're going. Even I'm, as a reader, I can show you there's a path there, but how you're going to walk it, I don't know. I'm just preparing you for the journey. And that's what life is doing. So if we have tools along the way that we know, I'm feeling off course, I'm feeling off centered, I'm feeling stuck, I'm feeling angry, I'm not feeling well, then having an instrument that you've attuned to, because it will pick you, right? It will guide you to it. And using that is a way, is kind of carrying your best friend around with you that's hugging you all the time when you need it. So this is kind of something that people can have in their lives and an everyday, isn't it? If they don't want to buy the bowl, they can listen to your music or listen to the bowls, on what you put out there, and play that when they know they're getting in there, or maybe start the morning off with it before you even rise, right? Set yourself for the day.
Absolutely. And it's really important to have the recording as a test,
Mm,
to if you notice a resonance, a
yes.
response to a sound, then make note of it and then
Mm,
test it. Like maybe add it to part of your morning routine
mm-hmm.
or do it after you brush your teeth in the morning, just to test it over a week or 2 weeks and see if you get a consistent result or response. Then you know it's a tool that'll work for you.
Right. Right.
And yeah, it's important to do that because not every tool is right for everybody.
No, no,
So,
it depends what frequency it's tuning in your body. And also you might be here right now, it tunes you up, so to speak, and now you may be at a different level of a different frequency, needing a different attunement. So it's never ever again one size fits all, right? It's the exploration of it. I'm a terrible sleeper. Because at night is when my world goes off and off. I am in different dimensions and I'm very busy. So I wake up exhausted. What kind of sounds are good for helping people, switch off and just surrender to the night?
There too is a really good question. So, to test, there are some I can recommend. One of them is nature sounds.
Mm-hmm.
The healthiest sounds there are for the human being are water,
Yeah.
wind, and bird song. So,
Mm-hmm.
if the sound of waves helps to calm you down and slow down your breathing and relax your body, that's one tool that can help before you go to sleep. So and birdsong is one of those things that because it's high sounds, it tends to charge the nervous system and the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So for some people it relaxes them. There's an aspect of birdsong that makes us feel safe,
Yeah.
because when our ancestors were in the forest and hunting, if the birds all of a sudden stopped singing, we knew there was danger nearby.
Right.
So when the birds are singing, we know we can feel safe, and we're our cells, our DNA still has that
Yeah.
programming. And so that's helpful. Water is necessary for survival. So water also helps us to feel safe because it's what we need. And the waves, especially the ocean waves, have a
Yeah.
lot of low frequencies, and low frequencies tend to calm us down. There's also the Sound Health series, which is one of my favorites for very specific intentions. This company uses the most recent research on how music affects your heartbeat, your brain,
Mm-hmm.
your breathing, and your nervous system. And they design music for specific effects, like sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
like de-stressing, like concentration, like focus. So they have a 12 set series now. The website is advancedbrain.com, advancedbrain.com, and then search for Sound Health Series, and it'll bring up the whole set. It is fabulously researched and very effective for those who like more of a classical style music. So
Mm-hmm.
for those who do not like a classical style music, it is not going to work. It's
Right.
going to make you
You're
feel
right.
worse.
Yeah.
So that is, but because they have such great research behind what they do, then it's a wonderful tool. And another one, and there's a recording for this. There's a free recording in our store, and also here, I hope, will be a link, Sarah,
Oh, yes, most certainly.
for
There
the
will be a
recording
link.
of this.
Yep, you can tell people the link right now, but it will be all the way through anyway.
Oh, perfect, perfect. Thank you, because I'm dying to get this out because it's so helpful. This is a set of two tuning forks.
Mm-hmm.
The longer fork is tuned to 256 hertz. It is and I don't know if the light is shining on that right. It is a C, but it's not quite the same C as a piano. This one is 384 hertz. This one is a G. So the notes C to G create what's called a perfect fifth. And
Mm-hmm.
these have a very specific relationship, which creates an energy that affects your nervous system and your cells in a very specific way. Dr. John Beaulieu teamed up. Dr. John Beaulieu is a pioneer in sound healing. He's also a naturopathic doctor and has a doctorate in music therapy and psychology. And with that background and his interest in sound and music, he also has a master's degree in music. So he did teamed up with the neuroscientists, and they did research on this. This is shortly after three scientists were awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine for discovering the most important cycle in our cells is a tiny molecule called nitric oxide. This tiny molecule is involved in almost every single metabolic function your body has. Whenever we are stressed, whenever we're ill, whenever we're overtired, this cycle is depressed and it's not working appropriately. That means our health is doing this. It's incredibly important that this cycle operate normally. It's a beautiful cycle that breathes in 3 minute
Mm-hmm.
cycles. The first breath is about 3 minutes where the cells puff nitric oxide, and it's a signaling molecule. So
Mm.
it's all over the body and it affects everything. So it's puffed in 3 minutes and the parasympathetic system rises. Then as it falls and is excreted from the bloodstream, then the sympathetic system rises, knowing, okay, something's not quite right. Then that takes about 3 minutes. So here we have our dance between
Mm-hmm.
sympathetic and parasympathetic in every single cell in the body with the dance of this molecule naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So what they found is they studied these two forks and they pointed the sound to cells in petri dishes which don't have ears, and they also used human subjects with the sound just beside the ear. And what they found was that in less than 30 seconds, nitric oxide was measured, both in the cells in the petri dish and in the human subjects. Now, we have played these by hundreds of people's ears, and there's in those hundreds of people, there's been about four that said, I don't like that sound.
Right. Right.
So it's one of the more universal sounds
Mm-hmm.
because of its mathematical balance.
Right. Right.
So this sound stimulates the nitric oxide cycle completely naturally, which is essential for your health and well-being. So, and it takes a good tap with the forks will last about 30 to 45 seconds. Once in the morning, put them on the bathroom counter beside your toothpaste, or put them in the kitchen counter, or at night, once at night before you go to bed. Stimulates the cycle and allows it to operate normally, reducing stress, helping digestive function, helping heart function, focusing the brain. It does so much.
Mm. Um,
Fabulous, fabulous tool.
you said in the petri dish no ears, so that means this could affect deaf people. They wouldn't have to hear
Yes,
it. The body would feel it. The cells would feel it, so that
yeah.
it didn't have to go through the air, for the ear, so to speak.
Well, I was listening to a talk by Dr. John Ballou this morning, and he reminded me of something I read years ago. As far as how we're wired for sound,
Mm-hmm.
he said your skin
Mm.
hears better than your ears.
That's why we like to move.
Well, not only that, but
Yeah.
there are receptors in the skin of the body that bring sound into the body. So your skin hears, actually, every part of your body
Right.
hears, inside and outside, all of it hears.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. My fascial pain and the optic nerve that goes underneath the skin. Underneath the skin, everybody thinks then you've just got the veins or the muscles, but there's this white sinewy stuff, which is all the fiber optics that are in your body that's coming from the brain, telling the body what to do. And of course, that very often gets damaged and people don't even know about it. And it's because the energy is being blocked in the areas and it needs to flow. So I know that acupressure and acupuncture are very good for this, but I would imagine the sound would be good for this, of removing the blockages.
Yes, actually, tuning forks work just as well on acupuncture points as
Mm,
needles.
mm.
hmm
I'll be a little
Usually,
less painful.
yes, yes.
Ah, I have to ask you to listen to Justin Johnson's show that he did with me, and he's a guitarist, and people make him guitars out of funny instruments. And how I first came across one of them was a spade, a shovel, as you call, and that was a musical instrument, and it's kind of Americana blues. And he just loves anything with strings he can play, and he's been given oil cans and car parts and anything, and he'll make music out of it. And I always love interviewing people who love music, because it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Music means so much to me, and it's not always about a particular instrument or the vocal instrument. We just don't realize the effect of sounds all around us. The birds, I was a very sickly child growing up, so very often in my bed alone, and my company was the birds outside. And I felt that they were singing for me. When I went to boarding school, they were outside the window there. And every now and again, I hear them. And for me, it's a comforting sound, that familiarity and a comforting sound. And if we could just switch off all that chatter around there and tune into the beautiful individual sounds that are around us, we'd realize that, you know, what we're seeking is always around us, always within us, but we're just too busy being busy to allow it to come in and ignite inside of us. Because what the sound is doing is igniting, isn't it? Balancing us,
Mm.
equalizing, alignment, and through that, everything needs to flow. So the flow happens, and that means clarity can flow with it.
Very much so, yes. And it's interesting. So many people think, and this relates to the birds. One of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite meditations, Sarah, is listening to birdsong.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that when I go out for my walks. That's my mindfulness meditation.
Mm.
So many people feel that you have to sit and be quiet to meditate. No,
No, no. I always say if I'm cross-legged on the floor, I'm going to need a crane to get me up. No.
no. I, I do a weekly meditation actually on the Sound Wellness page, which is a vocal voice meditation to align the chakras.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to sing all the way through that. It lasts for about 30 minutes and it is a
Mm.
singing meditation. So it's a way of experiencing, creating not only the natural healing response of the body, probably stimulating the nitric oxide cycle. Science hasn't been done on that, but I would think it would.
Mm-hmm.
From the comments from people at the end of it are similar to so many beautiful meditation experiences. It just feels so quiet, so peaceful, and so calm. And one of the things from working with so many people for so many years is that calm, that peace, that quiet is a part of you. It
Yeah.
can never, ever, ever be taken away from you. Ever. It is a permanent part of your being. We just forget
Yes.
how to connect with it.
Yes.
It's always there. And it's, oh, hundreds of people on every occasion. It's so simple to use sound to connect back to that peace and that calm and that quiet. We so desperately need it right now. Do we need to bring the dance back?
Oh, yeah. You know, we right now we seem to have kind of, as I said, you know, heavy metal dance going on, and you know what we need is, you know, the sweet cha-cha or the nice waltz. You know, we do need the calmer sounds, the calmer, in order to sustain the movements that are out there right now. They have to become calm and consistent and persistent, and you can't have that. If everything reaches a peak of hysteria, it will burn out, because
Mhm.
physically and in every other way we cannot cope with it. Things will last and gain a momentum when we come at it from a sense of calmness and clarity and meaningful purpose, and letting those vibrations and those frequencies rise slowly, and they're more encompassing. You know, instead of up and down, they're more around and embracing. And so sound is something that is so utterly important, but just doesn't, you know, just it's given a bad rap in many ways, because people just don't know how to, you know, don't know how to use it, and they don't
It's
realize how important it is, you know.
Well, it's only in the last 150, 200 years, though. Our ancestors knew how to use sound. The perfect, well, actually, I just realized I didn't play the perfect fifth for
No,
you.
no, you
And,
have to, yes,
and I
yes.
wanted to play that. I'll play it a couple of times so that the nervous system can go, clink, 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 clink.
Yeah. Oh, we always want the
Okay.
nervous system to go clink clink.
What I'll do is I'll play one fork after the other first to introduce those to the nervous system, then the two together.
Okay.
So here is the C.
Yeah, it
Did it,
wasn't terribly clear. It's kind
okay,
of
let me
sounded a
play.
little bit like Morse code.
Okay. That was better.
Yeah, it doesn't last very long. But
Here's the other one. This is the G. It's a bit higher. Most people have a different kind of response to that. So let me just thinking of it. See if I have a better C. Yeah, this might be a clearer C, so I'll use a different C. So here's the two of them together. And I'll play it again.
Very interesting. It's like a great big huge right? But when I close my eyes and listen to it, I could literally feel the vibration of the road and cars driving up and down. That's quite a bit away from me. So I was feeling different vibrations while this was also calming me down and centering me. So very interesting.
Very interesting sound. So
Mm,
that is in one of the web links that is soundwellness.com forks dash bowls.
mm-hmm,
And so there's two different Tibetan bowls to listen to or download.
mm-hmm,
Incredible and one other smaller bowl that's several hundred years old, and the perfect fifth tuning forks, so that you can download them, play them, even just part of it. One
mm-hmm,
minute's worth is enough to stimulate the cycle. Even if you're
mm.
listening, even if you're just listening to the sound, it will create an effect. But test it,
Yes.
have it handy, or even play it in the background and allow it to settle into your nervous system. See if it makes a difference. That one in particular, the perfect fifth,
Mm-hmm.
is a tuning of the nervous system that stimulates one of the most important natural cycles that we have in our bodies. Very important sound, that one.
Yeah, that one really has stayed with me. You know, that one, yeah, I can feel
It
that one
does.
for sure.
It
Obviously, I
does.
needed it.
Yeah, when we play these people at trade fairs, there's always crowds
Mm.
of people around our tables whenever we have the tuning forks out. So we just mention to people, notice how you feel the rest of the day. And a few months later, we met a couple of those people who had the tuning fork experience, and they said, I couldn't believe it. I
Mm.
felt so much calmer. I felt so much more at peace the rest of the day. So
Lighter.
just that few
Mm.
seconds, once a
Yes,
day even, makes
yes.
a difference for the rest of your day.
Mm. So people can buy the downloads from your site and with the particular tones and just play that every day, or they can buy the bowls. How do you work? What do
Well,
you offer?
these recordings are free. That's a free download
Oh,
because it's
wonderful.
such important sounds. They're
Yes.
only about 5 minutes each. So
Mm.
that's especially the perfect fifth is such an
Mm.
important sound. It's always been a free recording on our site, always, because those who have find it it can help support their health in such
Yeah.
huge ways, and that is really really important. We have all kinds of tools and courses and information on our site. Our blog is filled with all kinds of great information about a lot of different aspects of sound, so you can check that out too. There's another couple of recordings that will also be links here for people that are free for your listeners. One of them is soundwellness.com /woodland song. And this one is an hour of gentle bubbling water and woodland birds. So, healthiest sounds, two of the
Mm.
healthiest sounds that there are. And download that, play it in the background, notice if it helps make a difference. Then there's one other recording that we give away every year on our newsletter during flu and cold season.
Mm.
This recording is called Reset, and it was created in 2009 when we had the H1N1 scare.
Right.
And Calgary was filled with fear. There were lineups to get in the vaccines,
Mm.
long lineups, and then they ran out. So there was an enormous amount of panic in the air here. So what I did is I took the most healing sounds that I know, put them all in one 12-minute track. It has the perfect fifth tuning forks. It has the 528 hertz fork, the
Mhm.
love one. It has one of my most powerful singing crystal bowls. It has incredible, and it has me chanting the Medicine Buddha mantra. Powerful healing sounds all in one recording to help stimulate the immune system. So that is a free download also, and that's soundwellness.com/reset.
So powerful.
RESET.
I mean, so
So
powerful.
lots of options, and there's always Sunday nights I do the chakra meditation on the page to give an opportunity for people to experience for themselves their own voice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we want people, to step up with their voice right now. Yeah, and but we don't want it in the outrage or anger. We want it in the harmony, in the unison. There is so much in this world that we need to put right, and we're only going to do that with calm heads, calm hearts prevailing, and allowing the solutions to come together. And so it's not the time to be angry. It's the time in our step up as that, how am I going to be a part of that solution? So don't come with your anger. Use any one of these to keep yourself calm. So when you really are bringing something, you're bringing it from a place of love, from clarity, from calmness, because now you truly can be felt, seen, and heard, right? And that's what we need more of.
And we can create our solutions from that place too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can't create solutions when you're tense, when you're angry, when you're shouting. You can't hear, you can't feel, you can't do anything. You are consumed. And it's only when you release, let go, and allow, and find that equilibrium, that balance, that harmony within your cell structure, that now you have that clarity to be able to see and understand what is needed.
Mhm. Then humanity moves to a whole different place.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes. And that's as I said, that saying was given to me about 2.5, 3 years ago, that the universe, here to shake us up, wake us up, step it up, and change it up. And I knew this year was going to be a year where it was going to unite the world, and I didn't know how. And it's, where have we ever had in the history of time where the whole world has been affected by one thing? And, whether you believe it or it's a hoax, a democratic hoax or some other hoax, it's most certainly not a hoax to anybody who's died or has lost someone, because it's definitely been a killer. But at the same time, it's been a door opener. And it's been a beautiful gift to renew and review and redo things and learn to step into gratitude and appreciation, because now we look at different people as heroes than the pedestal heroes that we had before. So use these tools as a way to help you move forward and be a part of that solution. And you can do it when you're in balance, because when you're in balance, you're in creativity and you're in clarity.
Very much so. Yes, we really need it. It's interesting that even science has shown there that the next level in the theories of evolution, the next level of higher functioning comes out of chaos.
Always.
And so it's the one thing
Yes.
for
Oh,
me
yeah.
that's heartening about all of this
Right.
chaos is
Yes.
that I always go to where are the new seeds?
Hmm.
There's a blog article I wrote a few weeks ago, Sarah, called Caterpillar Soup. When the caterpillar goes into the cocoon,
Right.
it turns into mush. It
Right.
actually turns into mush.
Uh-huh.
And where the butterfly comes from are tiny cells called imaginal cells,
Ooh.
which carry the information for a leg here or an antenna here or part of the wing here. And so I think of our human family right now as
Mm.
caterpillar soup or
Yeah.
caterpillar goo.
I love that. I wasn't aware of that. I'm going to be reusing that. That is brilliant. We
Oh,
are, at that step up stage, we are at the goose stage,
we are at the goo.
and the invitation. is for us to immerse as this butterfly of inspiration. And it is, I think it's an absolutely wonderful time in life if we choose to see it that way and to immerse ourselves in participating with it, but coming from that place of heart. You know, everything comes from that place of heart. If you don't love what you do, if you don't love who you are, if you don't love life, then how can you bring love to anyone else or even see what love is? And I love the fact that there are tuning forks that can help people ignite their heart. A lot of people have switched their hearts off, and they simply
Very
do
much.
not know how to switch it back on. And if you've got some external energy there that's been able to break through that crack, that crust, and let the heart come out again, boy, do we need more people with heart.
You might need the perfect fifth forks first, just to create the stabilization of the nervous system, to get that perfect dance going
Right,
with the nervous system, and then bring the heart sound into.
right.
Hmm.
And you sell the forks
Yes,
and the bowls?
yes.
Excellent. And so basically people should listen to the various ones you've got there to see which tonage is for you. And then you will know which tone matches with the bowls and the forks, of course. They're all different ones, right? C, this, that, etc. You'll find out which one suits you.
There's so many different ones. Certainly, it's so easy to get a hold of us. So
Right,
you can always give us a call or a message or contact us. So that's
right.
easy. And ask questions. Find out.
Yes. Yeah, I
Use.
mean, it's not a one size fits all. It's, you know, not made in China and coming out in mass. It is something that's very intricate to you. You know, and where is your frequency in your body right now? That needs to be aligned. That needs its own harmony, because we're seeking harmony, peace, world peace. Well, world peace starts with you. And if you're not at peace with you, you can't be a part of world peace. And we need those external things, which isn't another drug or another this or another that. You know, the medicine of sound that just goes in there and just, it's all the manipulation of that energy into where we need it, when we need it. I love this. This is wonderful. I'm definitely going to be listening to all of them. And boy, do I need the sound. I'm inclined to
Oh,
carry a few of those empathic things out there, and I need those clearings. That's for
I
sure.
love, so love what you say, Sarah, about the medicine of sound, because it really is.
Hmm.
The human body is designed to respond to sound at every part of us. So it is such a perfect medicine, and in a way, similar to the herbal
Hmm.
medicines and the essential oils.
Yes.
They all complement each other so perfectly.
And they all have notes.
They all have notes. Yes, they do. Because at the bottom of us, we're sound. We
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad if we can only just see ourselves as a blob of flesh and we don't see just how intricately we're made. And when we look at the particles and neurons of the universe, that is what we're made of. And you know, they're discovering new organs in our body, and they're discovering all sorts of things, and there is always an answer. You know, the Celtic runes have haglas, which is disruption. And I realize a lot of the work that I do is disruption,
Yeah.
because you can't have clarity until you have disruption. You have to clear away the old in order to receive the new. But not all disruption has to be dangerous. It's just simply changing directions and redoing, which is important.
Just
Yeah.
like Incredible, it's a
Yes.
wonderful disruptor. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it
Yes.
is. We're going to play some of your music to go out with, and I think we'd love to play your guitar. And then I'll put the links here to all the other music too, which I want people to go to selfdiscoverymedia.com and put in your name, Sharon Carne, Carne, and you will find her posting with all her show and everything on it, but also some of this music here, and listen to it for yourself. But we'll close out with your guitar, because you're not just a one bowl or one folk person, you're many instruments. But can you, before you do that, give us another bowl of beautiful vibration for us to close off with?
Crystal
Ooh,
bowl.
crystal bowl. Oh.
This is a practitioner bowl because it has a handle on it, so it makes it easy to move around.
Mm-hmm.
This is Grandmother. She's from the Crystal Tones Grandmother series, and she's an orange color because they bonded iron to the crystal. And iron is the core of the earth. And
Mm.
their intention of creating the Grandmother series was to ground divine feminine wisdom into the planet.
You're going to have to just play that for the next 24 hours.
I her note is an A, and it's an A440 when I measure that. And she grounds that wisdom beautifully, beautifully. Okay, so I'll just play her then. Let me know if the sound is coming through, okay?
Mhm. Beautiful. It's so soft but firm at the same time.
Grandmother.
Hmm. Exactly. Exactly. We could talk about this more and more, and I'd love to have you back again. This is something that is so needed in the world right now, but so needed in our own lives. You know, it's very hard amongst all the static and expectations and everything else that's going on out there to find our equilibrium, to take that breath and calm down, to ignite our heart. We do need that external help, and something as simple as sound that can just reset you, rebalance you, because it is about balancing. Everything needs to be in balance in order to work properly for you. And if anything is off balance in your body or your mind, everything is going to be thrown off balance. So we do need something that's going to, at the very core of us, set us in balance, in an equilibrium.
Very much so. And sound, because we're so wired for sound, Sarah, it is a good tool for that when you find the right one for you or the right group of sounds for you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm going to be exploring. I need this. I desperately need this. There's no coincidence. You came along at the right time, and I need some real positive sound for sure.
Well,
Um,
I'm so so grateful that you are here and that you extended this invitation and are sharing a word about other ways that sound can support people.
right. And, you know, just please don't keep looking at Big Pharma. You know, we had a wonderful 80-year-old on the air for about 4 years and or 5 years maybe. And she was God's pharmacy. And that there was always something that, you know, came from the earth that was here for us. And if we could just take the blinkers off and open up and explore and allow, I'm always using the word allow, the experience, then we will actually understand that there's just so much more to life than what we know.
Mm.
Um, what number are you going to close this off with your guitar?
Mm. Oh,
Well,
Sarah.
let it be a surprise for everyone then,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Okay.
I have the one that came to me as soon as you asked that question was the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, especially there's so much thunder out there in the earth right now.
yeah,
We need
yeah,
something, you know, we want people to be grounded. But, you know, I used to say I could not, and I still find it difficult to walk barefoot on the planet because I'm feeling all the anger. And, you know, people say
yeah.
ground, give it to the earth, but the earth is saturated.
I
But
know, I
uh,
know. I've
we need to
worked,
clear the earth. Yeah.
yes, I've worked many, many years as part of
Mm,
my journey and
mm.
helping clear the earth in a
Yes.
lot of different
Yeah,
ways.
it's rather overloaded itself right now. So the
Mhm.
more we kind of learn to ground ourselves, then what we're bringing to the earth is that grounding for the earth, not always taking from the earth. So A lot to be learned here. Definitely got to have you back again, most certainly. So we'll have a surprise. Will be the Guitar of the Earth one. Plus there'll be all these other lovely numbers for you to hear. And it's soundwellness.com.
Yes.
And you've got all the free music there. And if you want to reach out to Sharon, can they just leave a message for you there, or have you got an email directly to you?
Yes, we have all of that. Our phone number, the address, and the email is on our website. If you just go under the main menu and look for contact information. Yeah, and also if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, I'm there too. So you can look me up and contact me there too.
Yes, and tune into these little events that you have. You do them on Facebook?
I do the chakra toning
Mhm.
on Facebook on Sunday evenings.
Right.
So
And
it's
then
a
what
weekly.
time is that
It's
Pacific?
8 o'clock Pacific.
Right?
It's late at night, so it helps everybody settle down at the
Hmm.
end of the week. We kind of let the week go and get ready for the new week.
Right. And of course, if you're back east, it's 11 o'clock, it's bedtime. They can just
It's
ooze you off to
bedtime.
sleep, right? Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we need help. We need help to walk in balance and to be the best version of ourselves that we can be, to be the contributors and the servers that we're meant to be. And we can't do that if we're kind of all off kilter. So this is something that can reset you. And so simple, so simple. And also at the same time explore, which is wonderful. So reach out, no more, experience it, try it for yourselves, and just see how it can improve your life. Because just what we've heard here today, I feel awesome. So imagine if it's a little longer and what it can do for you. So yes, wonderful. Sound wellness. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Sharon, so much for being with us here today.
Thank you, Sarah.
And until next time, folks, the sound of music.
You are rich, black earth, loose soil, soft and moist beneath my bare feet. Swallow me, I am water. Loose soil, soft and moist beneath my bare feet. You wait for me to fall into you. I am water, drawn to your embrace. You wait for me to fall into you. Surround me with your shores. Drawn to your embrace, I fall to you from sky. Surround me with your shores. You are rich, black earth. I fall to you from sky. Swallow me.
We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows. Please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see the incredible lineup of genres and shows that we have for you. We are here to make a difference in your life. Thank you for listening.